Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Good
Hello.
morning. Good morning. All right. We got a lot to cover today. So who wants to share some good news real fast? And then we'll move right into our listing presentation.
I did today, Bill.
All right, go.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that I got another property under contract last night. So
Nice.
Awesome. That would for the month. So it's 2 so far. So I'm excited about that. And
Nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, you guys. So this morning, the goal is to get back in here, do these calls, which I also did on Saturday as well.
All right.
Try to see if I can find someone else a property too before the end of the week.
That's beautiful. Great job. Great job. Who else?
I've got some news too, I guess.
All right, go for it.
So I've just had a lot of luck since I've been coming into the office. And
Stop right there. Stop right there. Luck, my friend. That's not luck. First of all, you earned everything that you've received. And luck is the intersection of activity, right? It's activity
right.
and more activity, right? And preparation. You are prepared for your appointments. You're getting into the right mindset for the time you spend on the phone. Don't take credit, man. Luck in part is when you don't deserve it. You deserve it.
Thank you. Well, the thing is, not all of the business I got came from the office. It was like since I was in there and thinking about real estate all day and talking about it on the phone, and it was like, because the fact that it was like in my brain all the time, I felt like I literally like attracted these weird situations where people just like started calling me about real estate that I haven't talked to in like a year.
Yeah.
It was weird. So I've got about 3 or 4 different houses to sell in, like January, February and stuff. It's just, I've had a lot of, it is working, coming into the office and doing work like every day. Totally helps.
when you treat it like a job, it pays you like a job.
It does.
And this is a quote, is actually a quote, interestingly enough, from the Hold book, but it says, when you treat it like a hobby, it will pay you like a hobby, right? When you come to work every day and you look good and you look sharp and you got the right mindset, opportunity comes at you from all directions. Great stuff, you guys, great stuff. Just a tiny bit of housekeeping, and then I'll do a version of the listing presentation, okay? So today, intro to productivity coaching. It's not particularly designed for you guys, but if you're interested, you could come from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock today, same link, okay? Don't forget that the 36-12-3 sessions this week are Tuesday and Friday from 1:30 to 3:30. And
Good morning.
And also don't forget that this Thursday is the Gene Rivers Listing Clinic. I'm telling you right now, there is probably not a better way to spend $19 in your entire career. Okay? Not a better way to spend $19 in your career. And I mentioned last week, I believe, that if you take, what did I say? If you take one listing between that day and a month from that day, then I would pay you back. Isn't that what I said? All right, I'll honor that, no problem, okay? So please, please, please take it upon yourself to commit to being there on Thursday, 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And I'll just go ahead and tell you right now, there is nothing more important. Nothing, okay? Nothing, got it?
Question, Bill, with this class, will there be breaks? That's a long class. I was looking at it on Friday and started to sign up. There'll be breaks, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, probably every, hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that.
Okay.
And I'm sure there'll be a lunch break too. Okay, also I tidied up the weekly email, so everyone should have received a weekly email yesterday. All the attachments that I've been putting in there for weeks in a row, they're all in Google Drive, so you can quickly search for that stuff. We're already starting to get some, of course, feedback from the survey. One person in particular told me that I needed to clean it up a little bit, so I appreciate that. They are on the call, and you know, just speak your mind, right? Tell me what you want to see, what improvements we can make, and I will be more than happy to do the best to accommodate. If you have not taken the survey, I put the survey in the WhatsApp group a couple of times, and I've also put it in the weekly email. Many of you were sent a survey from the office that's completely separate. That's just for the leadership team and Aubrey to watch me. This is internal so that I can really, really understand where you're at and where you want to be, okay? And of course, today is the last day of the recording period. So at the end of the day, when you're done, please go ahead and put in your actuals in the PC results page and your goals for the following week. And if there are many people on this call that have not finished up for November, so please, please, please just take a moment, finish up for November. We should be setting a number of records in November, particularly on your production. So congratulations to all of you.
Hey, Bill.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. Really quick.
Morning.
Once you put in the goals or once you update your numbers, do I need to email it to you, or does it just kind of update itself?
No, when you do it on the spreadsheet, it's a live document, so it saves automatically, and I can access to see your changes and your updates. Thank you for asking that.
Okay, fabulous. Thanks.
All right. Today, my intention was to do a listing presentation for you guys. Is that what you'd like to see? Yes, yes?
Yes.
Oh, good
Okay.
guy.
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. I've got a little concern around the number of people that have responded to the survey on who has like ready to roll presentations and buyer presentations. So we're going to focus on that because you guys are realtors. There's really only three things we do: set appointments and go on appointments, right? And if you're not prepared to go on appointments, then we're in trouble because you can't have a closing without appointments. Okay, so I want to make sure that you have all the tools and resources you need to move forward. Okay, there are a couple of documents that that we're going to review, and I'm actually going to share my screen with you today while I go through this, so you can watch kind of some of the scripts that I'm using. Okay, can everyone see?
Yes.
Okay, who wants to be my seller?
I will.
Greta? Is that Greta?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Okay, Greta, I even dressed up for our listing presentation. See? All right, ring, ring. By the way, so by this time we've already had a conversation on the telephone pre-qualifying her. I've also sent her a pre-listing package, which essentially pre-sells myself and my team, as well as goes over a good bit of detail on how I outperform the market overall and other agents, and resume, testimonials, marketing plan, that kind of stuff. So we won't be going through a ton of that detail today. There is a document within the Google Drive called Listing Proposal. That is a pre-listing package. That is a great example of what you could send a seller in between the telephone call to confirm the appointment and to ask the pre-qualification questions and the actual appointment. So now I'm at the front door. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Mrs. Massey, I'm Bill Linkwald with Keller Williams Realty. It is 8:40, and we had an appointment at 8:40 today. Would you mind? Could I come in?
Absolutely. Come on in.
Beautiful, beautiful. So let's do this. I'm just going to take a quick look around, Mrs. Massey, and take a couple of notes. And I'm going to set my materials at the kitchen table, and I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Would that be okay?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So I'm going to walk around the house. In a perfect world, I've got the dual entry page. So I already know, I'm like, okay, where are the attic steps, like all that stuff. I'm taking good notes. Okay.
Wait, dual entry page. What is that?
I'll come back to that.
Okay.
Don't let me forget. It's in the Google Drive anyway, but don't let me forget.
Okay.
Okay, Mrs. Massey, I have a great deal of respect for the investment of your time. And And I know that there's many agents that you could have invited into your home today. So I just want to express my gratitude for this opportunity. In fact, I only have 3 goals for our meeting today. Okay, number 1, we're going to review your motivation to sell this house now and agree on a price that will cause it to sell. Number 2, we'll take a moment and I'll answer any questions that you may have. And number 3, we will decide today whether you want to work with me, and if I decide not to, or if I decide not to take your listing. Okay. So, Mrs. Massey, 3 critical questions. Number 1, do you really want to sell your home?
Yes, absolutely. I need to.
Okay, great. And are you willing to price your house to sell, or do you want it to sit on the market?
Well, I want it to sell, but I don't want to give it away either.
Of course, of course. And do you want me to sell it for you?
If you can, yes.
All right, beautiful. So I had an opportunity to yesterday to speak with you and ask you some pre-qualification questions. And so I wanted us to take a moment to review those with you right now. Would that be okay?
Sure.
Okay. So when we last spoke, you said you wanted to sell your house and move to Dallas. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And how soon do you have to be there?
Well, my boyfriend plays football for the Cowboys, so I want to be there before the new season. I want to be there for training camp.
Okay. And when does training camp start?
It'll start in the spring.
Okay, so you want to sell your house and move to Dallas by the springtime. Okay, perfect. And if I were to sell the home in the next 30 days, would that pose a problem for you?
The next 30 days. No, as long as I can have, I need to be here at least through the New Year's. I don't want to have to move anything out before or deal with it before the New Year's.
Understood. Okay, so you want to sell, be there in Dallas by the springtime, yet you don't want to have to move before New Year's. That won't be a problem at all. Most closings between contract to the actual closing is about 4 to 5 weeks. So we shouldn't run into any problems ahead of the beginning of the year. Sound good?
Perfect. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, great. So have you looked online to check out the prices of similar homes in your area?
Yeah, I got on Zillow when I was looking around at, kind of my neighbors' homes and stuff. Mine's a lot better than theirs are. So
Gotcha.
How are you going to address that?
So were you surprised by the list prices you saw? Were they, or the sales prices, were they higher than you were expecting, lower than you were expecting? What were your takeaways from that?
No, my house is fabulous. I mean, they got what they got because theirs are average, but my home is, look, right? It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I can tell you spent a lot of time and money, and the future buyers are definitely going to appreciate all the work you've done. So tell me, as a professional real estate agent here in Roswell, I have access to the most accurate and recent sales information. So obviously, shortly we'll review all that information and so that we can together set the most appropriate price of this home sells. Does that sound good?
Yes, sounds good.
Okay, what are some of your favorite features about the property?
Well, I do love the pool with the waterfall out back.
Okay.
And the master suite where I turned that 7th bedroom into an office closet and connected it. I love the master suite.
Yeah, I took a lot of notes on the master suite. That is really, really, really well done. That's going to photograph particularly well. Great work on that. Anything else?
The kitchen, we put in a new Sub-Zero, and I love how when we did it, we made it flush with the cabinets, and then I got the new quartz countertops that I just adore those. Yeah,
quartz is really is a really big deal now. So you'll be ahead of the market with that. Not all your competition certainly has quartz tops. So great work there. So what about anything negative? You mentioned that yesterday when we were talking that the home is along a little bit busier of a street. Was there anything else negative that might impact the sale?
The only thing I can think of is my pool is not a salt pool. It's still chlorine. I haven't changed that over yet, and I probably should, but what do you think?
So we'll come back to that specific question because we're going to need to do a little bit of research on what you're actually competing against right now.
Okay.
And, it may not be necessary if, all the other properties that you're competing against are also chlorine pools. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So you mentioned when you're choosing a real estate agent to work with, what is the most important thing you'll be looking for?
I want someone that's going to communicate with me and answer my calls.
Okay, so communication and answering the calls is super important to you. Have you had any particular really positive experiences with agents in the past that you'd like to share, kind of what those experiences were like? What did you like the most?
I had an agent, she just was really like intuitive about what I needed. And, she always made really good suggestions, but she let me be the decision maker. And I like that.
Okay, so you like somebody one of your teammates basically to help get you the information and make suggestions, but you ultimately want to be the one to make the final choice. Is that right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's my house. So
Perfect.
I would like that. Yeah.
Perfect. And is there anything in particular that you want to see or you'll be listening for as you make your decision on which real estate agent to work with?
Probably just that, am I being listened to? Am I being heard? Yeah, that's, do we have a rapport where I feel comfortable with you?
Okay, great, great. And have you had any poor experiences with agents in the past?
I have. I was looking when I was looking for this home. I told her, I fired her. I told her, I didn't want to be in certain areas, and she kept booking appointments and taking me. And I just got to where I refused to get out of the car. And she still would get out of the car and go inside and put a card inside the house. It made me so mad.
It sounds like a bit of a waste of time, huh?
It was a huge waste of time. I was livid.
Wow. Okay. Anything else that in particular that you can think of with respect to the poor experience?
No, I mean, that's just it. Yeah. If you're listening to me and we're communicating and you're open, then that for me is the main thing.
Okay. I'm going to listen. I'm going to communicate the way you want me to communicate, and I'll be certainly open. And I'm looking forward to making some of those decisions, to help you make some of those decisions here very, very, very soon. Let's shift gears here for a second. So I want you to really visualize and really think hard. I'm moving on to the listing presentation to some degree that I sent yesterday, by the way.
Okay.
So Greta, when you think about this experience of selling your home and dealing with all the things that have got to be dealt with, in terms of prepping the home for sale and pictures and, cleaning the home and keeping it ready for showings and boxing everything up and, this whole process, what is the most important thing that needs to happen so that you consider this a 10 plus experience?
I don't want to have to do anything.
Okay, you
I
don't
want
have to
the
do-
movers to come do the moving. I want you to take the pictures. I'm busy at work and I just need it handled.
Well, the good news is I know how to take pictures, but I'm going to hire somebody that's even better at taking pictures than me. How's that sound?
Perfect.
Okay. So you're busy at work and with your family and planning the move. You want everyone else to do the actual heavy lifting. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think for the commission that we'll pay, that's fair.
Okay, great. And can you tell me a little bit about why is that important to you?
Because my time is precious.
Your time is precious. Okay. I can certainly understand that. Now, if we could do just one more thing in the process of helping you move to Dallas, what would that be? What would the next most important thing be for you?
If you could connect me with someone in Dallas. I've not been down there yet. I don't have an agent. You can make that connection for me. Someone that you trust. I would count that a win.
Awesome. Awesome. We'd be more than happy to do that for you. In Keller Williams, we have a national and even international network. Hang on, resume share. Sorry. We have a national and international referral network, so I'd be more than happy to make a connection for you in Dallas. In fact, I already know most likely who I would connect you with. Dallas is a big area. What part of Dallas would you be moving to?
I'm heading towards Greenville, the north side.
Okay, perfect, perfect. I'll make sure the agent, I can set you up with a couple different agents, and we can talk a little bit about what's important to you there. If you want to, if there's any specific qualities you're looking for in an agent, we can, when we come back to make all this official, we can go through those details, and I'll make sure to present you with one or as many as you'd like to interview. Sound good?
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Can you think of anything else that I should be aware of as we be in our relationship together?
No, I can't.
Okay, perfect. So let me ask you this. I sent you the packet yesterday. Did you get a chance to review that material? And in particular, I'm curious, did you get a chance to review the marketing plan?
I looked it over, yeah.
Did you have any questions about that?
Just what, I mean, is it the same as everyone else's? How are you different?
Is my plan the same as other agents, or is my plan the same for all the sellers that I help?
Oh, interesting question, both.
Okay. So let's start off with how I compare with other agents. So typically we reserve this till the end, but I'll go ahead and share it with you. In the pre-listing package that I sent you, or the seller information package, pre-listing package is kind of a realtor term, kind of behind the scenes term, if you will, that public doesn't have a clue what that is. Okay. You saw, the slide kind of looked like this, where it showed you the average days on the market that my team receives versus the agent population in general. Just to remind you, the agent population in general gets 96.5% of the original list price for their seller clients. My team will get 99.8% on average. So that's a difference of over 3%, almost 3.5% that I get my sellers more than the typical agent or even the average agent. Okay. In your scenario, we're probably in that $700,000 price range. That's going to be over $25,000. Greta, what are you going to do with that $25,000 when you get to Dallas?
I'm going to put it in a new place.
Great, great. And we also see the difference in the days on the market. We do know that it is a pretty strong seller's market right now, yet 22 days is the average days on the market. My team's average days on the market is 7. Okay.
Wow.
So even less headaches for prepping the home, open houses, all that kind of stuff that would take away from your time with your family. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect, perfect. Now, in terms of what I do for your property versus, let's say, a property that wasn't maybe as expensive or something, we'll probably have a little bit higher of a social media ad budget. So hopefully we can get some additional exposure, and we'll probably do some additional things with the photographer, maybe drone photography, that kind of thing, so we can get an aerial shot of the. Give me just a second. Is that cool? Okay. Okay. So we get an aerial shot of that pool. Does that sound good?
Oh yeah, that would look great.
Okay, great. So do you mind if I just share some information in general about the marketplace with you right now?
Go ahead.
Okay, so here are some slides that I think are really important for you to see. Actually, let me do it the opposite way. Let's take a moment to look at a little bit more detail. Let's take a moment to look at a little bit more detail about the market specific to your property in your area. So that's when I'll show you some of the actives, okay, some of the pendings, and some of the sales.
Okay.
Okay. And ultimately, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create essentially a bracketed price. What I'm trying to do is find at least one property that is more impressive than your property, the subject property. I'm trying to find at least one property that is inferior to your property. And I'm trying to find at least one property, ideally a couple, that are comparable. Okay. So I don't want to come out and say, you are 715, 250. I want to say, hey, we're probably going to be, let's say, between 700 and 725, something like that, right? And the reason is because these are, this is what we'll be competing against. So Mrs. Massey, just so you know, I don't set the price of the home. And interestingly enough, you don't set the price this home is going to sell for. The market will dictate that. So what we do together is based on all of the active homes that a buyer might consider to purchasing, and when yours is available as well, those that have gone under contract and those that have sold recently that are somewhat in your price range and somewhat in your area, school district, that kind of thing. We're going to set a strategic price that will cause the public to react quickly and allow you to go under contract and get the maximum number of dollars and get to Dallas by the springtime. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to go through all the sales, and then we're going to establish basically a range. Now, there's a couple questions I have not asked you. I didn't ask you. I probably should have if you were interviewing other agents, although that was part of the pre-qualification questions at the beginning. Okay. And we haven't really talked about timing so much. Like there may be some, paint or carpet or landscaping or something like that that needs to be tended to before we put the home on the market. What I don't want to happen is get caught saying a price and then have 2 or 3 weeks go by before the property goes live, and then there's new listings that would adjust my recommendation. So for example, if I said 725 and in between the time that I said that and 2 weeks later when I listed it, a better property came on the market for 700, I don't want to have to go in at 725. That's not a win-win for anybody, right? So I want to leave the door open for, look, we're going to do the analysis today, but right before we list, we're going to take another close look to make sure there's no, homes that surprisingly went under contract or surprisingly sold or that shift our strategy. Okay. What's the word I'm looking for? Kind of the presupposition is that they're not choosing me because of the price I name. They're choosing me because of my stats and the rapport and the fact that we're getting along really well, and they have confidence in my ability to buy or to help them, right? Because what I don't want them to do is pick the agent that says the highest price. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I want to show you just a couple of slides to help you understand fully what's going on in the marketplace. Okay. Why does that keep happening?
Bill, I got a question. Would you tell them that? Would you say, I don't
Yeah.
want you to choose the guy, the one that gives you the highest price because that won't necessarily net you the most money? Would you put those terms?
I don't know if I would blanketly, I would probably say that if the person said something to me, which led me to believe that they may be choosing to do that. I don't know that I would come out automatically and say that because no need to put that into their mind.
Right.
However, if they were to say, well, I'm interviewing 17 other agents to see if I can get a higher price from anyone else, and say, I've got a couple of concerns about that. Do you mind if I share them with you?
Okay.
Right. And say, there are some agents that will come in here and try to buy your listing, meaning they will give you the best price and then they'll work on you later for a price reduction.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that, Mrs. Massey. You have a goal to be in Dallas by springtime, and your time is valuable, and that's going to be a big headache for you. Don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we're just going to look at the data together. And like you said, you want to be the one to make the decision on the price. My job is to make sure that's responsible and it's going to be in alignment with your goals. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Now, I've got some of these slides in my back pocket, like what happens if we try 750 and then 2 weeks later lower it to 700, right? The activity goes substantially down after the first couple of weeks on the market, right? The percentage of list price to sales price ratio goes down as long as the home has continued to stay on the market. Okay. I don't necessarily need to show all this stuff to them, but if we start talking about price reductions, I've got my stats ready. Okay. And I might say something to the effect of, hey, even though this is a pretty strong seller's market, please understand that between $500,000 and $750,000, almost half of the homes are still facing a price reduction. So we don't want to be one of those properties, do we? Okay. Because, by the way, would you prefer to have your home, Mrs. Massey, on the market for 9 days or 112 days? Which do you think will be a better use of your time?
A 9.
Great. I agree with you completely, right? Resale failed listing percentage. This says that, still about a quarter of the properties that go on the market won't sell, even in this hot market. Does that surprise you?
Absolutely. That's terrifying.
Yeah. So that's why we're going to make a good team, making sure we set a realistic price, not giving your home away, just helping you be successful. Okay. So that you can get to Dallas by the spring. Okay. And here's some stuff about, over list price and that stuff, which isn't particularly relevant at the moment, although it's not even sharing. I'm sorry. Okay, so it sounds like Mrs. Massey, we're right on the same page, and we have a pretty clear understanding of the price. How are you feeling right now?
It's a lot to take in. It's a lot different than what I expected, but I mean, I think it makes sense.
Okay, what do you mean it was can you tell me a little bit more about what that means? A little bit different than you expected?
Just it gives me a hard pause on the fact that my house might be one of those 50% that doesn't sell. I find that terrifying. I've got to get out of here.
I got you. Tell me more about, do you have any other concerns based on what we talked about today?
No, it just, I'm just really concerned about being able to sell and being able to get what I need out of the house.
Gotcha. So Mrs. Massey, based on everything that you saw leading up to our meeting about the marketing plan and client testimonials, based on the fact that we have looked at the difference in what myself and my team historically have gotten for our past sellers versus what the typical agent in the marketplace would do, and based on all the education that I've shared with you today, you ready to get started?
Yeah, I think I need to. I
agree. So here's what we're going to do. I brought the listing agreement here. You can sign that, and this will allow me to get started to work for you as soon as I leave this house. Sound good? Okay, then we would transition into okay, we need to paint this and we need to move that and have a stager come over and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Hey, right. Bill.
Yes, ma'am.
Quick question. What do you do if someone says, because data, yeah, I hear what you're saying about you get a higher percentage of the list price, but if I listed a whole lot more and I get that lower percentage, will not often net more money?
Yeah, that's a possibility. But remember, that is a possibility. Mm-hmm. And the fact is that you can really only dissect that by looking at the list price to sales price ratios and start prices and end prices. It's a pretty complex equation there. But mm-hmm. Mr. Massey, you suggested that you want to sell the home quickly. So it doesn't sound like that's something you want to consider, having somebody come in here and price it at 800 and then trickle itself down to 700 so it finally sells. Am I missing something?
No, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay, great. So we'd also talk about the disclosure statements and next steps and all that kind of thing. All right, I got the wave from Robin. Was this helpful?
Yes.
Okay. So did you notice how I basically said, outside of defending my stats against the other real estate agents, I didn't say a thing about myself. It was all about her. Okay, there's a lot of repetition. She said she wanted to be heard and communicated with, so I was proving to her that I was listening. Right? How many times did I say you want to be in Dallas by the springtime? Probably 6 or 7, right? Any other ahas from that? Any other ahas? Okay, tomorrow we'll do the buyer presentation, and we will continue to work through these as much as you need to. In the email that I sent out yesterday is a PDF of the template within the design section of Command. So you can see some of the kind of modern looking graphics, and you can't edit it based on what I sent because it's a PDF, but you can edit it based on the doc file, which is in the design section. Okay. The
Bill,
bottom. Go ahead, Heather.
this isn't an aha, but it's just a question of when she started mentioning, what do I do if it doesn't sell? What do we do this different ways? Is this one of those times where you talk about knock or one of the other?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you could bring it up, but here's the thing. I'm confident, and I think the real estate agent should be confident in their ability to price the home, and a well-priced home in this market will sell. So I'm not overly, yeah, I said the thing about 50% and all that to give the impact that the impact was received the way I wanted it to be received, which is
Right.
don't screw around here, price the home correctly, and let's move on with life, right? So I'm not overwhelmingly nervous that she's going to make the wrong move, and I'm pretty confident in my ability to purchase or to price the home. So with that said, I didn't feel the need to go in that direction too hard, because I don't want her dwelling on that. I want her dwelling on the fact that I'm going to solve that problem.
Okay. So it would only be, you don't bring it up right away. You just bring it up like if she's really going a direction on price that you're not.
Yeah. And I mean, knock is probably not going to be, well, she didn't express any desire. Well, I don't think knock works in Dallas anyway. Like, I don't think it would work for this type of scenario.
Okay.
And then like Keller Offers, for example, if we're fighting over price, Keller Offers is not going to help at all, right? Because Keller Offers is going to come in lower. So you got to bring that stuff up when it's relevant, when it could separate yourself from the competition. In this particular scenario, we didn't set the stage too much, but I don't think it would have been applicable so much in this scenario. Does that make sense?
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys very much. Do not forget, today is the last day for reporting, and please catch up for November. And even if the numbers are like 2, just put them in there so I can quit staring at a blank cell, okay? And I'm proud of each and every one of you. Thank you so much for continuing to come every morning. I'm feeling a lot of momentum right now, and I'm excited to see y'all's businesses continue to blossom. Okay.
Thanks, Bill.
All right.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks,
This
Bill.
was an awesome video. You know, I really guess I appreciate that listing presentation. I mean,
Beautiful.
that just brought so much to light that I kind of forgot about. So
yeah, because all the effort that we do on the front end is designed to have an opportunity to do what I just did. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So all the time, think about it, all the time that we spend finding the appointment, we should be just as confident in our skills presenting to the person. And then we didn't really get a chance. She didn't give me a whole lot of objections, but I could have handled those too. Greta, you were much easier on me than I thought.
I was trying to be the snob, but apparently I'm not very good at that.
No, you're all right. You're great. All right. Have a great day, everyone. See you soon.
Bill.
Thanks. Bye.